And welcome to SoccerBeat, and it's What's Hot with Peter du Toit. Today I've got a story for you that sounds unbelievable, but I'll give you all the facts around the story, and we'll work through it together, and we'll come to conclusions together. And at the very end, I'll give you my opinion. The story is Benni McCarthy for Mamelodi Sundowns. Now, when I first heard that story, I went, no, can't believe it. Doesn't sound right. But that's the story that's doing the round. So what I'm going to do is I'll give you the evidence, and we'll work through the evidence together, and I'll go through point by point by all the facts, and you can decide, Benni McCarthy for Sundowns, true or false, and at the very end, I'll give you my view. So, what are the facts? What are the evidence? First of all, we got a call from an impeccable Sundowns source, and I've known the source for a long, long time, and the Sundowns source tells us that the club is in talks with Benni McCarthy. My first reaction is impossible. Why would they? They've just appointed new coaches. It's just the start of the season. They normally start slowly. Why press the panic buttons? Why would they be talking to Benni McCarthy? So my first thought was, no, this can't be true. But obviously, doing the job properly, we take it further. I know Benni McCarthy very well, but one of my colleagues, behind the scenes colleagues, knows Benni exceptionally well, played with Benni for many years. He calls Benni personally, and Benni tells him it's an absolute lie. It's not true. I haven't been in South Africa. I'm in Scotland, and it's rubbish, and he denies it categorically. So normally that would be the end of the story. But I sit with my colleague and I goes, you know what? We've got two opposite things here. We've got an impeccable source that we've known for years, a Sundowns source who tells us the club has spoken to Benni about Benni becoming coach at Mamelodi Sundowns. One of the two people are not telling the truth. Either Benni's telling the truth, and the guy's got the story wrong from the Sundowns source, or Benni's hiding something. So where do we go next? I contact Rob Moore, Benni's agent, who I know very well, known for many, many years. And Rob, under normal circumstances, would categorically, he knows me well, I don't think he'd lie to me. Under normal circumstances, if it's not true, he would categorically deny it. Rob did not deny the story. Instead, he asked me, who else are Sundowns supposedly speaking to? Now, that's not saying that Benni's going to Sundowns or speaking to Sundowns, but it led me to be suspicious, and the conversation was kind of avoided. So why would the agent avoid the discussion and not categorically say no? So we've got Sundowns source saying they're speaking to Benni. Why would he make that up? There's no reason to. It's a good friend. 2, the player, who's also a good friend, denies the story. 3, the agent, who's also a good friend, doesn't deny the story, but doesn't say it's true. Now, the one thing that is important to remember here, when these kind of deals happen, the club always tells the player and the agent, don't say anything about it. So we're still suspicious. Then I read an article in Soccer where Benni is quoted, and he says categorically that Benni has not been in South Africa. He does not deny in this article anywhere that he's not speaking to Sundowns, but instead he says they're talking to clubs in the MSL in America. So I go, he said he's not in South Africa. Did our Sundowns source say they spoke in South Africa? We didn't ask that. Then we speak to a coach. I can't mention the coach's name because he's active in the game right now. He's currently coaching professionally in South Africa, very close enough to Benni. And he tells us the same story, that Benni is talking to Sundowns and he will be coming to South Africa. He hasn't been to South Africa. He's been coming to South Africa shortly under the auspices of speaking to a betting company. Now, by the way, he is an ambassador for a betting company in South Africa, so he could very well be coming to South Africa for that reason. So now we add it up. We go, Sundowns source saying they've definitely spoken. 2, the player denying it categorically to a good friend. 3, the agent not denying it to us. In fact, asking me who else are they supposedly speaking to, which indicates something's happening. 4, the article in Soccer where he categorically denies that Benni's been in South Africa to talk to Sundowns. And that's actually fact. He hasn't been in South Africa to talk to Sundowns, but we'll come back to that one now. And then number 5, the coach, who knows Benni well, says that talks have been happening. So we go back to the Sundowns source. And we say to the Sundowns source, you've told us this. The player denies it categorically. The agent doesn't deny it, but doesn't say yes. But I can understand why he can't. The coach says that he's still to come to South Africa. He's not been in South Africa. And then the Sundowns source says, no, I didn't tell you. They met in Europe. He met with, and I have the names of the people from Sundowns that he met, the person that from Sundowns that he met with. I can't mention the name. I've been asked not to mention the name, but I know the name. And he categorically states that they met in Sundowns. He went further to say that Benni was fourth on the list of their choices. The first three choices on the list to coach Sundowns were not available or unavailable or wouldn't refuse the job for whatever reason. And Benni's the fourth choice. From my side, it's difficult to understand because the coaches currently at Sundowns have not had enough time. However, when I look at the Rulani Mokwena situation, there's no ways I would have said that he would not be coaching Sundowns this season. It's unheard of that a coach who does so well, wins the league, loses one game, departs from the club. So, after the break, let me come back to you with what I really think is happening. See you now.
To all our believers,
to the gunners of Kopana,
to our drivers as Stockers Arabs,
to the believers at the Brazen Head,
to Langa,
to Kwamashu,
I'm back.
We hear you.
Now hear us.
Siyabonga.
Thank you.
Betway, the official global betting partner of Arsenal.
Welcome back. And please don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms and to like, subscribe, and to share. And your comments also on this are very important. So you've been given all the evidence. All the evidence. Sundowns fans out there, with all that evidence that we've given you, Benni McCarthy himself saying no, the agent not commenting, so to speak, the coach in South Africa confirming that he'll be coming to South Africa to speak to Sundowns again. And then the Sundowns source telling us they met actually in Europe. You let me know in the comment section your view. I'll give you my view, and I've been in this game for over 25, nearly 27, 28, 29 years. I can't remember on this side of the game. And I can tell you what I think has happened. One, if you look at it from an emotional point of view and a logical point of view, I would say no. Why would they be speaking? They would give the new coaches a longer time. But to discount that, I've seen the action with what happened with Pitso. How would you let a coach like Pitso Mosimane go after so much success? He wasn't happy. How do you let a coach like Rulani Mokwena go after so much success? So when it comes to coaches in Sundowns, anything can happen. So it's not something that's not part of a pattern or a sequence. And that's not to say they'll get rid of the three. Maybe Benni has to work with them. That's the first thing. The second thing is the non-denial from the agent and the collaborative statement from the South African coach who knows him well. But most importantly, the Sundowns source is an impeccable source, and there's no reason why the Sundowns source would be making this up. So my gut feel, with all my experience in this, is that, yes, they are speaking to Benni. Whether the deal will happen or not is a separate issue because money comes into play, terms come into play. So nothing's been signed. But my guess, guys, out there is that there are talks, and I would actually lean towards that. We will get more information from you, from Rob's side, and maybe reach out to Benni again, but I don't see him changing his story. And then we'll also speak to our Sundowns source again. But this is something that I think is going to play out in the next 10 days, at least, maybe even sooner. So I'm not saying this is true or if it's false. I've given you all the facts. You work it out for yourself. You make the decisions. My personal opinion is they're talking. Whether the deal will happen or not, who knows? But we'll keep you informed. Love you lots. See you soon with more What's Hot. This is Peter du Toit from SoccerBeat. By the way, you all look very good. Look forward to seeing you again.